Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL, and today Chall Chats Theme Parks, and we are here with an update from the Alton Towers Resort. This was originally set to go out yesterday, however we had a breaking news update in the last 24 hours from Flamingo Land, so we thought we'd put that one out. You can go and check that video out on the channel right now. It will fly across your screen at some point, so you can go and check out that video. But we've been meaning to do this for a couple of days, but here we are finally. The Retro Squad will officially be leaving the Alton Towers Resort at the end of the current 2023 season. We're going to be discussing potential replacements long-term on a permanent basis, and we're also going to discuss the impact of the Retro Squad and what they made to the resort during the 3 consecutive seasons at Alton Towers. So before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell to never YouTube video. We are on the road to 3,000 subscribers, so let's get there as soon as possible. We've got a huge promotional video coming out in the new year, which we're so excited to share with you guys. So please stay tuned. And for now, guys, let's have a look at the latest from Alton Towers. So before we go into the details and the specifics, it's official. The Retro Squad, the fairground rides, the temporary fairground attractions located in certain areas within Alton Towers, will be leaving the resort, and your last chance to ride them is on the 5th of November 2023.
Time is left.
So the Retro Squad kicked off in 2021 with 3 attractions. The Roller Disco, located in Dark Forest at the back of Rita, Mixtape, located on the site of Submission in X Sector, and the Funk and Fly, located in Ripsaw site in Forbidden Valley. For the next season in 2022, Mixtape was removed and Spin Jam was put in the same location. And then for 2023 this year, they removed the Roller Disco from Dark Forest, and with the closure and permanent retirement of Enterprise after multiple decades at the resort, they brought in Twister Tron, which will soon be making its way out along with the long-standing Funk and Fly and Spin Jam from 2022. So Funk and Fly does leave as the original Retro Squad attraction and the longest serving Retro Squad attraction at the Alton Towers Resort, with Spin Jam second and Twister Tron being a 1-year deal. So, of course, with every attraction invested and every attraction that ends up closing after a while or a little while, there is always positives and negatives with each attraction at the resort. So let's go on about the positives and negatives of the Retro Squad, and also what I feel like the impact of those positives and negatives are within the rest of the theme park. So first of all, we've got to talk about the positives. We've got to talk about positives first of all. So positives are, during a time during the coronavirus pandemic when the indoor rides were still trying to fit to restrictions and things like that, and to spread capacity within the rest of the resort, they brought in these temporary rides to expand the capacity, and it did its job. During the period of time we were all under a pandemic and we had to spread ourselves out from other groups with the 2 meter space, with the distance between groups, etc. I think it expanded capacity, especially on busy days as well. And it was definitely a popular one amongst the general public. The theme park enthusiasts, maybe not, but I think they're good. I think they were okay rides. They're not themed within the areas, admittedly, but I think that they were decent rides. The decent crowd pleasers for the general public. And, theme parks aren't aimed for the enthusiasts. They're aimed for the general public, as we all know. So, for the job that it did a good job. Did I feel that the Retro Squad dragged on past its sell-by date? By 12 months, in my personal opinion. But I wasn't too mad that they stayed this season, because I think the park, after seeing some of the theming detail in the Curse at Alton Manor, seeing what they're doing with Nemesis, seeing what they're doing with Project Horizon in 2025, which, by the way, stay tuned for a video from that at some point down the line, because I'd love to do an analysis video on that. So stay tuned for that video of what we know so far about Project Horizon. So with all those projects going on, with Curse of Alton Manor just opening, you knew they'd have something up their sleeve. And there was actually word in a fans meeting forum, I think it is, from the divisional director. Not the exact lines of the words, but I was hearing on multiple videos from the divisional director words on the lines of, and don't take my word for it, permanent flat rides in the future. So, obviously, that's neither confirmed or denied, but there have been multiple videos saying this as well, on a similar line of. So it sounds like permanent flat rides are in the park's future, but where will they go and what is best? Let's have a look at each site, and let's have a look and see what they could add to each particular site. So first of all, submission site. Now, I could see one of two. We're going to go for two different types of rides per site, and then a theming prediction. So we're going to go first with submission site, and I'm going to predict either a Huss spinning cruiser or SBF Visa drop and twist drop tower. Now then, the drop and twist is sort of similar to Croc Drop at Chessington. It's rumoured for Gardaland next year with a Native American theme. That could be what we're looking at here. Or a spinning cruiser. If you don't know what that is, I've linked the different ride types websites in the description down below, so go and check out all of them. But basically, spinning cruisers, like, you sit in these cars, and you're kind of, it's like a bit of a Huss breakdance in a way, but it's not like two multiple motion. It's just, you know, it's a bit like a Huss breakdance, but with, like, actual dart ride cars, or dart ride style vehicles. Rather than like barrels or actual mechanical cars, etc. So I think a spinning cruise would be a nice themed addition. In terms of the theme, I'd either go with Oblivion or Ministry of Joy. The reason why I have Oblivion theme as an extra option as well as Ministry of Joy is because I think there's potential here for Oblivion to be the next major coaster to get renovated, along with either Galactica or Rita, something along those lines. I think Galactica or Oblivion's probably next up for a major renovation in terms of coaster refurbishment projects at Alton Towers. But I think they could really expand on the Oblivion storyline and really play it into the Ministry of Joy a bit as well, and kind of mash the two together to create an X-Sector storyline for this. They could spin it off from the Ministry of Joy and Oblivion. They could do an X-Sector storyline in general, kind of like Submission. They brought Enterprise into it a little bit, so they could do the same with that ride as well. Next up, the Enterprise site, and I can see, again, similar theme, but either a Zamperla Endeavour, which is a next generation kind of Enterprise model, or the SBF Visa normal drop tower. So that could work. Could you imagine rising up and then dropping as Oblivion's coming round that bend? That would be just incredible, wouldn't it? Next up, Dark Forest, and on that side I could see either a Zamperla Wave Blaster, so something similar to Ostrich Stampede at Chessington World of Adventure Resort, or the return of the Huss Breakdance. Now, of course, we saw this with Dynamo in the past history at Alton Towers, and I think a new version of the breakdance could work in Dark Forest, especially theming it up to the forest taking over. You've got some really good potential with theming and storylines for that particular ride. And then finally, we have the Ripsaw site. Now, I could see one of two things. I could see a Discovery Revolution from Zamperla if you dig down a bit. It's not too tall. You can get like a you can get a smaller model to fit within the constraints of the height restrictions at the parks. Of course, with Alton Towers, you've got this whole thing of they can't build above the tree height. So I think you've got potential there with that one. As well as that, I could potentially see the top spin suspended model, the more modern top spin. We see this with Vortex over in Australia as part of that whole rides package with the new wooden coaster at the time a couple of years back. So I think that that could be an option as a bit of a Ripsaw's Revenge type thing, or maybe go with a new theme but pay homage to Ripsaw with the ride type. In terms of theme, Phalanx. Definitely Phalanx. The Phalanx taking over the valley, and it needs to happen. We can see some paint ups and TLC to Blade over the winter period this year, going into early next year. We could see some paint up and refurbishment. Well, not refurbishment work because Blade's already up to scratch as far as I know at the minute. But I could see some paint up work, some new signage for Blade, make it real part of the Phalanx story a bit. Not too heavy, but a little bit related, so it sort of fits perfectly and kind of clashes together beautifully rather than clashes together awkwardly and just kind of merges and battles with each other. But I think a phalanx themed version of one of these two rides in that site would be pretty spectacular. So there we go, guys. That is your potential ride types, in my opinion, that I could see. But what do you think? Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this. What do you think could happen to this site? But for now, guys, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now. Comment down below what you think. Bye-bye, Retro Squad. See you in the rollercoaster graveyard.